On today's episode, Elon Musk signals potential trouble ahead for the Cybertruck rollout. Tesla execs give more details on the design focus of the new 25K Tesla car, and Giga Mexico pauses while the company rethinks its approach. Tesla's Cybertruck has had a wildly successful year, but it feels like things have been slowing down right when the truck should be heading out to buyers. And during the Q3 earnings call, CEO Elon Musk went over some specifics as to when exactly customers should start getting their Cybertrucks and when the company could expect them to actually make money. Like we said, the first half of this year was spent in a Cybertruck frenzy. Any sighting of the vehicle spawned a huge number of articles analyzing what details in the leaks could mean. Meanwhile, Tesla themselves were fairly open about the production process, merely hiding the stacks of casted parts and internal leaks from Giga Texas. Overall, everything looked good, and the vehicle's prototypes seemed to show that Tesla was on schedule to send out their first deliveries in September, then October, and now, as of this recent earnings call, a solid November 30th. So you can imagine why some investors were shocked to hear Musk say during the earnings call that, "I just want to temper expectations for Cybertruck. Financially, it will take a year to 18 months before it is a significant positive cash flow contributor." That's more than a little confusing, right? This whole time, we've heard that Cybertruck's pre-production has been going very well. We've even seen release candidates for well over a month now, and all the discussions around the impending ramp-up of production has been centered around how the Cybertruck was designed for mass manufacturing. Production lines were halted and retooled, and 2 gigantic 9,000-ton gigapresses were brought and set up at Giga Texas. So how does a vehicle with such a strong pre-production phase and over 1 million pre-orders take 18 months to become cash positive? Well, we didn't get a direct answer on that from anyone in the earnings call, but Elon did say a few things that point to the answer. The biggest one being the infamous, "We dug our own grave with Cybertruck" quote. Just after clearing up a question about the 18-month timeline, Elon says that the 18-month estimate is a maximum, as in the longest he and his engineers think it would take to make enough Cybertrucks to sell to those pre-order holders and start making a profit. He's clear to point out that this would be a very disappointing result, as he clearly believes that they can ramp up production quicker than that, but 18 months is a possibility, so he has to tell the investors that. And here's where the quote comes in. While Musk is attempting to explain why production could be slower than the company first anticipated, he says that, "We dug our own grave with the Cybertruck." Cybertruck's one of those special products that comes along only once in a long while, and special products that come along once in a long while are just incredibly difficult to bring to market, to reach volume, to be prosperous. And here's why things got a bit confusing. Sure, Cybertruck was made for a smooth production cycle. Large parts of its frame being made in those gigapresses are a good example of how Tesla streamlined the manufacturing of their stainless steel truck. But we're still talking about a completely unique vehicle here. The Cybertruck has probably the least in common with any other vehicles in the Tesla fleet, meaning it's a lot harder to share parts, which is one of the easiest ways to help streamline production. Add to that the extra features like the Cybertruck's 48-volt electric system or its newly announced 800-volt powertrain, which will allow it to charge much faster and brings the truck on par with vehicles like the Lucid Air, which uses a 900-volt architecture currently. Speaking of which, the 800-volt architecture is one of the better takeaways from the Cybertruck-focused parts of the earnings call. A powertrain like this is a huge upgrade, not just for recharge times, but it also shaves weight off the vehicle because there's less copper in the system overall, and the power transfer uses a lower current, which makes the whole system operate more efficiently. But it does make the Cybertruck a little harder to build, for right now at least. Tesla executives said that currently Giga Texas has the ability to produce 125,000 Cybertrucks per year, and that's not nothing. The confusion seems to have been in the slight shifting of expectations around the speed of the ramp-up, and given the hype around the Cybertruck, that's probably the most predictable problem Tesla could have right now. As we said earlier, the hard date given to investors for the first deliveries, and therefore the Cybertruck delivery event, will be on November 30th at the latest, so those first lucky owners will get to have their new trucks in time for the holidays after all. On October 18th, Tesla's third quarter earnings call took place, and we got a lot of details on the company's operations over the summer, but we also got a bit more detail on Tesla's upcoming $25,000 next-gen vehicle. During the meeting, CEO Elon Musk and other Tesla executives seemed to confirm that the new vehicle will be some sort of smaller crossover, calling it a mini Model Y. And while Elon was quick to stress that the design will be cool, he said that the point of this vehicle will be a simple, cheap car meant to get a person from A to B. He says, quote, "Just to be clear, it will be cool, but it's utilitarian. It's not meant to, fill you with magic. It will still be beautiful, but it's utility." Which is about what we expected from earlier conversations about this cheaper vehicle. But the biggest point made about the new platform during the Q3 call was that the design will be centered around ease of production. The main goal of the design team will be to optimize this new EV for cheap and easy automation, with the wider aim of achieving a higher throughput rate of manufacturing that is unheard of in the auto industry. And that would be because Tesla is anticipating this being a popular car, and because Elon wants to use the design to launch another attempt at the robotaxi idea, something made easier with a cheaper vehicle platform. To go along with that, the executives made mention of Giga, Texas being the intended location for the start of production, as we found out back in September with the releases from Elon's biography. This makes more sense when you factor in the company's new approach to Giga Mexico, saying that the slowed pace for the new facility will help design its new production systems alongside the development of the new vehicle, so that once the next-gen car is ready to roll, Giga Mexico will be ready to produce it at high volumes. That said, it's more than likely that just like with other new vehicles in Tesla's fleet, the Mini Model Y will probably start the design and prototyping process at the Cato Road facility, and reports are that the line there is already being retooled. It's pretty clear that Tesla itself is very excited for this new vehicle. Sales for their other cars aren't doing poorly. The company is still the biggest seller of EVs in the US, but they're not wrong in thinking that a truly affordable car will do extremely well in pretty much every market. And with prototyping on the horizon, we might get lucky enough to spot some of these small cars in California sometime next year. Tesla apparently has had a difficult time in getting the construction of their new Gigafactory started in Mexico. Tesla's new facility in Nuevo León, Mexico has been the subject of some excitement ever since it was announced back at the Investor Day event in March. During the presentation, it was announced that a strip of land near Santa Catarina had been chosen and survey work was already beginning. This new facility, they said, was where Tesla intends on showcasing much of their new manufacturing processes and where they want to produce their new $25,000 vehicle platform. But things have changed since March. First, the environmental surveys took a little bit more time than expected. The land Tesla had purchased was a 4,200-acre plot of arid desert, and a lot of work was going to be needed to get the water Tesla would be needing to manufacture vehicles there. But when last we looked in on the project, it seemed that all of those problems had been solved. The permits had been signed, and the local Mexican government was eager to get things started. Heavy vehicles were spotted preparing the site for construction, and it looked like we'd be seeing steel go up inside of the month. But that was back in August. Something has changed that is making Tesla hesitate, and luckily the third quarter earnings call happened on October 18th, with CEO Elon Musk explaining what the holdup in Mexico is: interest rates. It seems that with the global economy the way it is right now, Tesla is reconsidering its approach to building their new facility. Musk said that the company is definitely still going to build the Mexico Gigafactory, but that the question is really just one of timing. Normally, of course, once a Tesla project breaks ground, it's a full sprint to finish construction. With Giga Shanghai, for instance, construction began in January 2019, and by December of that year, cars were rolling off the line. Knowing that Tesla is being cautious here makes some previous decisions make more sense, though. Back in September, we got the news that Elon had changed the initial production location of the new 25K model to Giga, Texas, and at the time, it made sense, considering Tesla's best and brightest engineers were working there already for the Cybertruck rollout. Now, we know it was also because the company was unsure if they could afford to build and activate Giga Mexico at the pace they had originally planned on. But it's not all bad news. Like Elon said, Tesla is still planning on building the factory in Nuevo Leon, and we don't have to take their word for it because the Santa Catarina government is planning on helping the company along with over $130 million worth of infrastructure improvements. One of the harder parts of building this facility was that Tesla was going to have to shoulder that burden, bringing in water, electricity, gas, internet service, and paying to have the roads reinforced and widened so they can even get materials to the site in the first place. That is pretty normal for a company to do, and it's often included in their investment offer to a location, but it looks like the local government really wants to see this facility built, so they're offering to foot that bill. So it looks like plans for Giga Mexico will have to at least slow down while the company waits for a more solid financial footing, but it's a good thing they have plenty of other factories to make their new vehicle at. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up today if you liked it. That is so important for getting our content out to more people. If you enjoy the content, then you'd probably also enjoy our weekly newsletter, so sign up with the link down below at theteslaspace.com. A huge thank you to all of our Patreon supporters who are listed on the screen now. You help us make the best content we can, and we really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.